Okay, thank you. I guess the presentation that I want to make now, I will try to be quick so I leave more space for the next speakers, is relevant to a new system committee that is being established at the IC level. I'm sure that you all know IC and you all know the ICTC9, which is the technical committee at the worldwide level that is in charge of preparing electrical standards for the railways, mass transit. The IC system committee is something new or within the IC. I mean, system committees is a new, I would say, approach that IC is taking to overarching different sectors and making them to cooperate most efficiently as possible. So the reason for setting up this system committee was based on an evaluation that was carried out in 2022 when the suggestion was that there is the need, the systems are becoming more and more complex, and therefore a system cannot be longer managed by one technical committee anymore, but there must be an overarching system committee that takes care of coordinating the work of the different technical committees in the same field. And this was the reason why IC established this system committee called Sustainable Electrified Transportation. So the actual acronym is SICSET. The aim of this system committee is to standardize in the field of sustainable electrified transportation, to provide end-to-end and cross-sectors system-level standardization, collaboration and guidance on overall system aspects, infrastructure aspects of this sustainable electrified transportation. Please, it's important to understand that this is not only for railways. This is really actually overarching any transportation system based on electricity, which means that is also including road transportation and non-road transportation. To foster this, also other SDOs are being involved, particularly the ISO, for instance, and they are now cooperating with the System Committee SICSET to carry out this new activity. The System Committee, as I said, is in charge of developing high-level interfaces and functional requirements. And this is something new because, as a matter of fact, IC is still learning and understanding how they can support the system committees to work properly and at the best, and particularly making sure that the technical committees within IC are actually aware of the existence of the system committees and then provide experts to develop the new standards. The system committees are, as I said, quite new, but now there are already several of them operating. One is active assistant living, one is on the communication technologies and architectures, another is on low voltage direct current and low voltage current for direct access, one is smart manufacturing, smart energy, and another one is for smart cities. So in some of those, I also see that ICT could certainly cooperate in the future, because those are all system committees where the telecoms and the communication will be highly involved. This is just to give you an understanding that the System Committee for Sustainable Electrified Transportation is not really an island, but it's going to cooperate very tightly with other system committees like Smart Cities and Smart Energy. And of course, it is not only for railways, but you can see from this picture, but it's also for any aviation, for instance, maritime, roads, and so on. The system committee is being officially established, and we had the very first plenary meeting in March in Berlin, and we already had a second one in Milan just in September. The officers are Alexander Kupfer from Germany. He is actually from Audi. So just to give you an understanding, he's from the vehicle manufacturer and industry. It's myself as a vice chair with some delegated powers, activities. The secretary is under the Chinese National Committee, and there is a technical officer in IC following it. The system committee, again, is at the very beginning of its life. And to be honest, I have something that we need to confess. It's not easy to get this started, because one of the most important things at the very beginning, comparing to the TC9 that is celebrating 100 years next year, so here instead is celebrating a few months of life, we have decided to start with a simple task, and considering also the number of members participating, it is already a challenge, because we are lacking of experts for some groups of activities that we have decided to start. The current activities that we are facing with are, the first one is sustainability targets and key tasks in the electrified transportation. All the technical committees have a strategic business plan in IC. It's the same thing for ISO. And in this strategic business plan, we need what are the United Nations targets that we want to tackle through the operative activities of this technical committee. And so this first ad hoc group will be in charge of listing which one are the strategic tasks of the United Nations that we want to achieve in the near future. We want to, I would say, contribute in achieving them. The second ad hoc group is in charge of trying to find a way of proving that when we, for instance, charge or we provide power supply to the trains with a catenary, this energy is actually coming from renewable sources. And this is why this morning I started saying we might have a very nice railway system. It's very, very green, but it's also according to the way that we produce the energy that makes our system fully green or partially green. And the aim of this working group, ad hoc group actually, is to find a way of measuring this. The last one is defining which are the system architectures of the different transportation systems. And this is a quite challenging activity that has not started yet. We just decided to establish this working group in September. So one important thing that I would like to, as a message, leave to you is that while before system committees were not in charge of preparing standards because their object and their target was to coordinate technical committees like TC9, for instance, to prepare standards, the SMB, which is the Standardization Management Board of IEC, is strongly considering to give to the system committees the capability of preparing directly themselves standards. So it will be giving them, empowering them of something that currently is not in their list of responsibilities. This is just the last meeting of the Market Strategic Board that was suggesting to the Standard Management Board to approve the possibility of providing to the System Committee the possibility of preparing standards. Well, this is the question. So this is what I said before, relevant to the System Committee. I wanted to close just to make sure that we are all on the same page, relevant to the TC9, the IC TC9, which is the technical committee in IC, of which I am the chair, and Denis Milianico is the secretary, where we are preparing international standards for railways, which include rolling stocks, fixed installation, management systems, including supervision, information, communication, signaling, and processing systems. Again, for railway operators, the interface in their ecological environment. The standard cover railway network, metropolitan transportation network, and so on. And this is what was also said before, relevant to the cybersecurity, cyber standard that we got the TS 571 from Senelec, and now we are working on turning it into an international standard. We are also considering in our responsibility the disposal, recyclability, and reusability and toxicity for all the products that we are standardizing, all the subsystems that we're standardizing. So, and we also pursue that energy management in view of assessing and promoting the energy efficiency. This is one of the targets that we keep in mind every time we prepare a standard, an international standard. Same thing, in particular, we promote current works or new works on energy measurement system for supporting energy calculation and saving. As we said before, if there is something that you cannot measure, it's very difficult that you can improve it. Okay? Energy saving assistant driver for optimal driving and energy measurement by train, energy management, sorry, by trains, control and monitoring system. And as we just said, we saw before from our Spanish colleagues, the recovery of braking energy, which is something that is becoming more and more important. And you saw the participants of several operators into this group at this time. One of the other things that is becoming quite interesting is the use of pantographs on tracks. I understand Germany is one of the first one piloting this solution on some highways. I don't precisely know where, but I know that you are piloting this thing. And the other is current collectors for ground level feeding system. That is something that is under development for picking up power wirelessly. I guess that you can take this just about all the activities that ICTC9 has in this sustainability field. And also what are the groups and ongoing activities linked to sustainability, not directly, but through cooperation with other groups and other technical committees. This is just a picture, last picture that we took at the last plenary meeting of the System Committee for Sustainable Electrified Transportation. I'm done. Thank you.